Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Dear students, our lesson today is about the set of irrational numbers, Q dash. You have learned that irrational numbers is that number which can be put in the form a over b, where a and b belong to z and b not equal 0. For example, 2 over 3, 2 and a half, 3.2. All of these numbers are rational numbers. For example, when solving the equation 4x squared equals 25, divided 4, then x squared equal 25 over 4. By taking square root, then x equal positive or negative square root of 25 over 4. 25 equal 5, 4 equal 2. Each of 5 over 2 and the negative 5 over 2 is a rational numbers. Why? Because they are in the form a over b and b not equal 0, 2 not equal 0. However, there are many numbers which can't be put in the form a over b. There are many number we can't put it in the form a over b, where a and b belong to z and b not equal 0. These numbers is called irrational numbers. For example, when solving the equation x squared equal 2, then x equals positive or negative square root of 2. Square root of 2, we can't find number multiply by itself equal 2. So the solution set equal square root positive or negative square root 2. Square root 2 is irrational number. Why irrational number? Because square root 2 not perfect square. The irrational number, it is that number which can't be put in the form a over b, where a and b belong to z and b not equal 0. The first definition. The second definition, the square root of a positive number which are not perfect square. For example, square root 2, as we mentioned before, we not find 2 number multiply by itself equal 2. Square root 5, we not find number multiply by itself equal 5. Square root 6, we not find number multiply by itself equal 6. We not find the number multiply by itself equal 7. So these numbers belong to Q dash, irrational numbers Q dash. Second, the cube roots of these numbers are not perfect cubes. For example, cube root of 4, we can't find a number multiply by itself 3 times equals 4, and so cube root 2 and so cube root 11. These numbers not belong to Q, but belong to Q dash. These numbers are irrational numbers. The third definition, the pi, the approximation ratio, where it is impossible to find any exact value for any of the previous numbers. Why? Pi equals 1.14 or 22 over 7. This is approximated value, not exact. So the number pi is not belong to Q, not rational number, but it is irrational number belong to Q dash. This number and others from A from a set which is called the set of irrational numbers, which is denoted by q dash, q dash, q dash. Q, we mentioned before, natural numbers is a subset of integers, and integers is a subset of q. So we mentioned that q intersection q dash, q intersection q dash equal 5. The irrational numbers and rational numbers, not we can't a number, or we can't find a common number between q and q dash, q and q dash. So q and q dash are disjoint sets. Disjoint sets means there is no intersection between them. Think, is cube root 1 is an irrational number? Why? Irrational number mean not perfect, not perfect. Perfect. Not perfect يعني can't come out from the root. Negative 1, if we multiply negative 1 times negative 1 times negative 1, the result equal negative 1. The result equal negative 1. So cube root of negative 1 equals negative 1. So negative 1 is a perfect cube. So the cube root of negative 1 belong to q, not q dash, belong to q. The cube root of negative 1 is a rational number, not irrational, is a rational number. In this example, complete by using q or q dash. 5 belong to 5. We can put 5 in the form a over b and b not equal 0. 5 over 1. So 5 belong to q. 5 belong to q. The cube root of 10. We can't find number multiplied by itself 3 times equals 10. So cube root 10 not perfect cube, or 10 not perfect cube. Then cube root of 10 belong to q dash. 0 over 1 or 0 over 2 in the form a over b and b not equal 0 belong to q, Negative 0.7 equal negative 7 over 10. 7 over 10 in the form a over b and b not equal 0 belong to q, Cube root of 8. 8 is a perfect cube. So cube root of 8 equal 2. 2 belong to q. Cube root of 6. 6 is not perfect cube. There is no number multiplied by itself 3 times equal 6. Then cube root of 6 belong to q dash. Negative cube root of 9. There is no number multiplied by itself 3 times equals 9. So cube root of negative 9 belong to q dash. Pi, we mentioned before, pi is irrational numbers because pi is an approximated value. Then pi belong to q dash. Put take for the true statement and cross for the false statement. 2.3 times 10 power 5 belong to q. This number is, we can put it in the form a over b, and b not equal 0, then belong to q. Yes. Number b, absolute value of 5. Absolute value of 5 equal 5. 5 belong to q, not belong to q dash. Then this statement is wrong. 0 over 5 equal 0. 0, we mentioned before, 0 belong to q. Yes. Cube root of negative 4. There is no number that can be multiplied by itself 3 times equal 4. So cube root of negative 4 belong to q dash. Yes, belong to q dash. Square root of 1000. 1000 not perfect square, not perfect square, because no number multiply by itself two times equal 1000. So q square root 1000 belong to q, wrong, belong to q dash, q dash. Square root 7 greater than 3. Square root 7 greater than 3. Square root 7 is between two integers, 4, 3, 2 and 3, between 2 and 3. Then square root 7 greater than 2 and less than 3, not greater than 3. This is wrong question. Cube root of 10. 10 cube root of 10 is between two numbers, between number 1 and between number 2 and 3. So cube root of 10 greater than 2. Cube root of 20 and square root of 9. Square root of 9 equals 3. Cube root of 20. Cube root between 2 and 3. Then cube root 20 greater than 2 and less than 3, not greater than 3. This is wrong question. The side length of a square whose surface area equals 6 centimeter square is a rational number. We mentioned before, area of square equals L square, side length times itself. So side length equals square root, positive square root of area, square root of area. Then side length equals square root of 6. So square root of 6 is not perfect square. So side length belong to q dash, not belong to q, belong to q dash. This is wrong question. Choose the correct answer. The surface area of a square whose side length equals 3. Area equals side length times itself. Square root 3 times square root 3. Square root 3 times square root 3 equals square root 9 or equals 3. The irrational number lie between 3 and 4. This number is a rational number. The irrational numbers square root 13 and square root 20. Square root 13 between two numbers, 13 greater than and less than. The number that is less than 13 and perfect square. This number is 9. The number that is a perfect square and greater than 13 is 16. By taking positive square root of 9, square root of 13, square root of 16. Square root of 9 equals 3. Square root of 16 equals 4. Then the number square root of 13 is greater than 3 and less than 4. Between 3 and 4. Then the irrational number that lie between 3 and 4 is square root 13. This is answer. Square root 13, not square root 20. The irrational number lie between -2 and -1. This is a rational number and this is a rational number. The two irrational number that square root negative square root 3 and square root 2. Square root 2 is a positive. We must find a negative number. This is the answer. The negative square root of 3. The negative square root of 3 is between negative square root 3 is between greater than -2 and less than -1. -2 less than -1. This is the inequality. We put -2 in the first side and -1 in the great side. Find the the approximate value of the irrational number. To find the approximated value of the irrational number, we must do the follow steps. 2 is greater than and less than. We must take a perfect square number less than 1, less than 2 is 1. The perfect square number greater than 2 is 4. By taking square root, square root of 1, square root of 2, square root of 4. Then square root of 1 is 1, square root of 2 as it is, square root of 2, square root of 4 equals 2. So the number square root 2 is between 1 and 2. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. Type. We do the follow steps. 1.1 power 2. 1.2 power 2. 1.3 power 2. 1.4 power 2. 1.5 power 2. 1.6 power 2. 1.7 power 2. 1.8 power 2. 1.9 power 2. We can find the approximated value of negative 2 of square root 2 between these numbers. These numbers. Type. 2 is closest to 1 or closest to 4. If square root of 2 is closest to 1, we can find in these numbers. From 1.1 to 1.5. If 2 is closest 4, we can find it in these numbers. So since 2 is closest to 1, we can find the approximated value of these numbers. 1.2 1.1 square equal 1.21. 1.2 square equals 1.44. 1.3 square equals 1.69. 1.4 square equal 1.96. 1.5 square equals 2.25. The closest number to square root 2 or 2 for these numbers is this number. This number is closest because 2.25 greater than 2. Then the approximated value of square root 2 equals 1.4. This is the answer. The approximated value of square root 2 is 1.4. Find two consecutive integers that square root 5 is lie between them. We do the follows. Square root 5 greater than and less than. We take a perfect square number. Perfect square less than 5 equals 4. And the perfect square number greater than 5 is 9. By taking square root for both three sides, square root of 4 equals 2. Square root of 5 equals square root 5. Square root of 9 equals 3. So square root 5 is between 2 and 3. 2 two consecutive integers between 2 and 3. Number B, two consecutive integers that square root 12 is between them. We take 12 greater than and less than. The number that is perfect square less than 12 is 9. The number that is perfect square greater than 12 is 16. By taking square root for both three sides, then square root of 9 equals 3. Square root of 12 equals square root of 12 as it is. Square root of 16 equals 4. Then the square root of 12 is between two integers 3 and 4. 3 and 4. Number C, two consecutive integers that cube root of 10 is lie between them. We choose two numbers, two perfect cube. One is less than directly less than 10 and directly more than 10. The perfect cube that is directly less than 10 is 8. The perfect cube that directly greater than 9 is 27. By taking cube root of 8 equals 2. Cube root of 10, that's it is cube root of 10. Cube root of 27 equals 3. So cube root of 10 is between 2 and 3. Another question, two consecutive integers between negative cube root of negative 20 to cube root of negative 20. We choose two numbers, negative 20. We choose number greater than and less than. Which number is greater than negative 20? Perfect cube. Negative 20, negative 27, negative 27. Number greater than negative 20 is negative 8. By taking cube root of negative 27 is negative 3. Cube root of negative 20 as it is cube root of negative 20. Cube root of negative 8 is negative 2. So cube root of negative 20 is between negative 3 and negative 2. Two integers, negative 3 and negative 20, and negative 3 and negative 2, because negative 2 is greater than negative 2 is greater than negative 3. Negative 2 is greater than negative 3. Prove that square root 3 is between 1.7 and 1.8. How to prove this question? We do the follows. Square root 3 power 2 equals 3. 1.7 power 2 by use the calculator. 1.7 times 1.7 equals 2.89. 1.8 square. Use the calculator. 1.8 times 1.8 equals 3.24. We see that square 3 is greater than 2.89 and less than 3.24. So then square root 3 is between 1.7 and 1.8. The second question, prove that cube root of 15 is between 2.4 and 2.5. Do as the first question. Cube root of 15 power 3 equals 15. 2.4 all power 3 equals 2.4 multiply by itself 3 times. 2.4 times 2.4 times 2.4 equals 13.824. 2.5 power 3 all power 3 means 2.5 multiplied by itself 3 times. 2.5 times 2.5 times 2.5 equals 15.625. As we see, 15 is greater than 13.824 and 15 less than 15.624. So cube root 15 is between 2.4 and 2.5 as you see. Number 3, find the value of square root 11 to the nearest hundreds. You can use the calculator to find this answer. Square root of 11. Use this calculator. Square root 11. Then the approximated value, you can write the approximated value by using the calculator in number 3 and number 4. You try to solve this question by yourself by using the calculator. In this question, find the solution set for each of the following equations in Q dash, not Q dash. X squared equals 2. By taking square root for both two sides, then x equals positive or negative square root 2. There is no perfect square of 2 not perfect square, 2 not perfect square. So the result or the solution set equals positive or negative square root 2 in Q dash. But in Q, if the question finds the solution set of each of the following questions in Q, the solution set equal 5 because square root 2 not belong to Q. يبقى in Q square root positive or negative square root 2. In Q dash 5. Cube root x cube equal 5. By taking a cube root for both two sides, then x equals cube root of 5. Cube root of 5 belong to Q dash. Why? Because 5 not perfect cube. In solution set in Q equals cube root in Q dash cube root 5. But solution set in Q equals solution set equal 5. Why? Because cube root 5 not belong to Q. Number 3, 4 over 3 x squared equals 1. By dividing by 4 over 3 in both two sides, then x squared equal 1 divided 4 over 3, then x squared equals 3 over 4. By taking square root, then x equals positive or negative square root of 3, square root of 4 equals 2. This number belong to Q dash, not belong to Q, belong to Q dash, because 3 square root 3 or 3 not perfect square, then solution set in Q dash equals positive or negative square root 3 over 2. Number D, 0.001 x cube equals negative 8. By dividing this number 0.001 dividing 0.001, then x cubed equals negative 8 times 1000, then x cubed equal negative 8000. By taking a cube root, then x equals cube root of negative 8000. Negative 8000 is a perfect cube. Then x equals negative 20. Negative 20 belong to q, not belong to q dash. Then solution set in q dash equals phi. Notice this question carefully. Solution set in q equal negative 20. In q dash equal phi. Find the length of each side and diagonal. Side length and diagonal length of a square whose area equals 7. We mentioned before area of square equal side length times itself, or L square. And we mentioned L side length equal square root positive square root of area. Then side length equals square root of 7 centimeter square. Square root side length, the side length of square equal square root of 7. We mentioned before the diagonal, the length of the diagonal of square equals square root 2 of side length L, square root 2 of L, square root 2 times L. Then the diagonal equals square root 2 times the side length square root 7 times square root 7, then equals square root 14. The diagonal length equal square root 14 centimeter, as you see. Think if x is an integer, find the value of x in each of the following cases. Square root 7 greater than number and less than number. This number is integer, greater than integer and less than integer. We mentioned before 7 is greater than and less than. Greater than perfect number, greater than 7. Perfect square is 4. Perfect square greater than 7 is 9. By taking square root 7 is greater than 2 and less than 3. Then x equal the first number, x equals 2. In this question we mentioned 80. We choose two number. One of them is less than 80, perfect square, and the other is greater than 80 and has a perfect square. The number greater than 80 equals 81. The number less than 80 and perfect 64. By taking square root for both three sides, then square root of 80 greater than square root of 64 equals 8. 8 multiplied by itself. Square root of 81 equals 9. 9 times 9 equals 81. Then the square root of 80 is between two integers, 8 and 9. X equal, then x equals the first number, x equals 8. The second or the third question, we choose 125 is greater than and less than. 125 is greater than perfect number and less than perfect number. The number less than 125 is 125 121. The number that is greater than 125 and perfect, 144. By taking square root for both three sides, then square root of 125 is greater than 11, less than 12, is less than 12. Then x equals, the smallest number is 11. X equals 11, as you see. In this question, cube root of 5 is greater than and less than. Perfect cube, the number perfect cube less than 5 is 1. The number perfect cube greater than 5 is 8. By taking a cube root for both three sides, then cube root of 5 is greater than cube root of 1 is 1. Cube root of 8 is 2. Then cube root of 5 is between 1 and 2. Then x equals 1. Then x equals 1, the smallest number. Cube root of 30. 30 is greater than and less than. The number that is less than 30 and has a perfect cube is 27. The number that is greater than 30 and have a perfect cube is 64. By taking a cube root for both three sides, cube root of 30 is greater than 3, cube root of 27, and less than 4, cube root of 64. Then x equals 3. Number F, the same answer or the same steps. 100 greater than and less than. 100 is greater than the number perfect cube greater less than 100 is the number that has a perfect cube less than 100 is 64. The number greater than 100 and has a perfect cube is 125. By taking a cube root for both three sides, then cube root of 100 is greater than 4 and less than 5. Then cube root of 100 is between two integers or two consecutive integers, 4 and 5. Then x equals 4, the smallest number of these numbers. The last question in this lesson, choose the correct answer. The irrational number lies between 2 and 3. Irrational. This number is irrational. Irrational number square root 3 and square root 7, square root 10. Square root 3, 2 and 3. We convert 2 into square root of 4. Square root of 4. We convert 3 into square root of 9, because square root of 4 equal 2, square root of 9 equal 3. The number of this number is between 4 and 9. 4 and 9, this number. Square root 7. Square root 7 is between square root 4 and square root 9. Then is between 2 and 3.